It is not who you are that's holding you back. It is the illusions of who you think you're not. This is Anders Hansen, and I'm here to help you shatter those illusions and live the life of your dreams. Hello there, this is Anders Hansen, and welcome to Insights to Impossible. And this week, I would like to share with you the key insights I've taken away from 3 of my favorite books over the last 15 years of study. And I know there are going to be some golden nuggets in there that will help you too on your journey, no doubt about it. But before we get to it, do me a favor, like this video, subscribe to my channel, and make sure you share this video with friends and family that you believe could benefit from this material as well. All right, so if you're ready to get started, I am. The first book that really profoundly impacted my life 15 years ago was The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. I was broke, I was sick, I was unhappy. I had just moved from Denmark, landed here in the US with nothing but 2 suitcases and a deck of cards. I started performing magic for tips. I was literally performing magic for tips in local bars and restaurants in Miami Beach. And I knew there was more to life. I just didn't know how to uncover it and bring it into my life. I saw people around me getting great results, but I just didn't. And I was just sitting there feeling I had lost everything. A friend of mine gave me this very book. As you can tell, it's falling apart and the pages are coming out and my dogs have chewed off some of the corners, but I still know the content. The book itself is amazing. It taught me that your mind is not you. It taught me that you can actually control and guide your thoughts so that you continuously keep getting better results in your life. But there's a process to it, and the book will really dive into that and give you firm, tangible tools to help integrate those new ideas. And I remember so vividly how I was performing magic for tips, saw the big cruise ships here in Miami take out every day, and I thought to myself, wow, it would be amazing if I could be on stage on one of those ships and really create a big show and have thousands of audience members there. And then I thought, well, that can't be because you just sold all your props. That won't happen. But after reading this book and rereading it, something in me just said, well, if anything is possible, what would I love? I would love that show, and I started imagining that. A few weeks later, I got invited to participate in a television broadcast out of here, and 15 million people saw that broadcast. One person called me, and he said, I'd love to produce shows with you on cruise ships. We have all the props. We're just looking for somebody to take it over and run it. And I went, that's me. And I knew it had something to do with my study. And so what the book really highlights here is that willpower is never the key to getting what you want. Getting to what you want and getting what you want out of life is a matter of learning to use the mind in the right way. The mind is the master power in all of this. So it's not about trying to micromanage results outside. It's about getting your mind right, integrating in your subjective mind that which you desire. The ideas will come to you, you will meet people, and the key here is that you're living from the frequency. And so there's a part here on page 109 in the version I have. The version you have maybe or that you're planning on getting might be a little different. But Dr. Murphy here points out we should always use imagination, not willpower. Enlisting the powers of your subconscious mind is not like pushing against an obstacle. That's what you and I have been doing for years though. Pushing against existing reality, and that is not the key. He says working harder does not lead to better results, and we should highlight that and underline it. Working harder does not mean we're getting better results. Willpower won't do it. Instead, visualize the end and the state of freedom it produces. So visualize the result, the end, and the outcome of you living that result. The freedom, the conditions, the circumstances, the effects on your family, all of that, include that. The why is very important. It's a powerful driver. You will find your intellect trying to get in the way, and oh yes, trying to find ways to solve the problem and impose those ways on your subconscious. Happens all the time. I want this better, greater, whatever the goal is, and then intellectually you try and calculate your way to it. And that is not constructive. You are literally impeding your own progress. Resist this, he points out. Put away your intellectual problem-solving skills. Persist in maintaining a simple, childlike, miracle-making faith. That's really what it is. Childlike, miracle-making faith. And people say, who do you think you are? You can't do that. Where are the resources going to come from? You don't know, but you know it's going to happen. Persist in this and picture yourself without the ailment or problem. See, most people will say, I want to get rid of this. If your job is to, let's say, your objective is to lose weight, you will find it again. I always find whatever I lose. Subjectively, you're programmed to find what you lose. So instead of working to get rid of something, work on building greater health. See yourself as a healthy, vibrant person, if that is a goal of yours. Imagine the emotional gratification of the freedom state you seek. Cut out all red tape from the process. The simplest way is the best. Imagine the emotional gratification of the freedom state you seek. So that's what we're talking about. So your subjective mind really understands pictures, emotions, and sounds. So you want to start talking the language of your subjective mind to really start getting the results you want in your life. And the key is get the intellect out of the way. Picture what you want, emotionalize it with all the might of your being, and it must move into form. Now, most people get impatient. They say, well, Anders, it's not here yet. Yet is the key word. It's not here yet in physical form, but that does not mean it's not on the way. Everything is created from the inside out, upside down. Everything is energy before it becomes a thing. It took me 15 years from the time I read The Secret to the day I collaborated and co-created a program with Bob Proctor. But the idea was always in my mind. Took a while, and I had known back then what I know now, I'm sure that journey would have been shorter. So stay in the study. That is the first book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. Changed my life profoundly. The next one that had an enormous impact on me was The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And I started reading this book about the same time, actually, and it had the same effect on me. It profoundly changed the way I perceived myself, time, and the pursuit of happiness and better and greater. You see, we have a tendency to pursue better health, to pursue greater income, to pursue a better relationship. And the key is to be present enough to allow it. That's right. The key is not to pursue it. The key is to be present enough in your life to allow the unfoldment to take place. That is the key word. This book, more than anything, will teach you how to let things happen in your life as opposed to try and micromanage things, as Dr. Murphy also teaches from a different perspective. One thing Eckhart Tolle points out here in this book, and this is by far my favorite chapter, he says all problems are illusions of the mind, and you can imagine why it's my favorite, because the word illusions are in here. It feels as if a heavy burden has been lifted. A sense of lightness, I feel clear, but my problems are still there, waiting for me, aren't they? They haven't been solved. Am I not just temporarily evading them? And Eckhart Tolle goes on to say, if you found yourself in paradise, it wouldn't be long before your mind would say, yes, but ultimately, this is not about solving your problems. It's about realizing that there are no problems, only situations to be dealt with now or to be left alone and accepted as part of the isness of the present moment until they change or can be dealt with. This is the key. Problems are mind-made and need time to survive. They cannot survive in the actuality of the now. Focus your attention on the now and tell me, what problem do you have at this moment? I remember when I read that the first time, I almost got insulted. What do you mean? I have problems in my life. Don't you see them? They're right here. Problems are mind-made. They can only exist in your consciousness when you add the illusion of time to the mix. Now, that's another thing we don't have really time to go into today, but just understand that no problems can exist in this moment. The only thing we can experience are live situations. And yes, we have to deal with them. Of course we do. but they aren't problems until we add the future or the past into it. Yesterday, this last month, this last year, this and this happened, and it becomes a problem in your mind. Or in a month from now, I have this bill that's due and it's an enormous problem. But you see, everything just is until we make it what it is by the way of perceiving it. And most people do perceive problems, which are opportunities in disguise, from a point of lack and limitation, and that's why it becomes a problem. They add time to the mix and it's enormous all of a sudden. The one thing you can do in any moment is take a deep breath and realize problems are mind-made. There's really two ways to perceive time, as Eckhart Tolle teaches us in this great book, and that is clock time. That is the clock we have on the wall and some people carry it on their wrist. People say, Anders, why don't you wear a watch? And because time is always now, right? I mean, the clock time, of course, is ticking, but time is now. This is the only moment we have. And so I don't like to wear a watch, and that helps me remind myself that now is all there is. There's clock time on the wall and there's psychological time. Psychological time is when you're caught up emotionally in past or future scenarios. You are emotionally tied to something that happened or something that you think is going to happen in the future. Very unhealthy. The more enlightened you get, the more aware you become. You stay aware of clock time, you're peripherally aware of clock time, but you have totally let go of psychological time. Nothing in your past and nothing in your future gets you wound up. Because guess what? As Eckhart Tolle also points out in the book, when the future arrives, it arrives as the present moment. This is it. So what are we doing with it? That's the key. This book is tremendous. There's so much insight and so much depth, which is one of the reasons why I've studied it for close to 15 years now. I was debating with myself what the third book should be. We talked about it and we said, well, we should just highlight 3 books. The 2 was easy, but the third one, there's so many that I've studied over the years that are really great. But you know, I was prompted with a question on a Q&A not too long ago from a very young participant. Well, what's young? Everything is relative. But, you know, he was about 20, 22 years old, I believe. And that's considered fairly young when it comes to personal development. Most people do not start their journey until they're in their late 20s, early 30s. Some people not until they're in their 60s. We have people in various different age groups. But Nikolai is a young guy, and he asked me on a Q&A, he said, Anders, what would you have told, what would you, knowing what you know now, what would you tell your 22-year-old self? And it prompted me to think, and I told him I would teach the former version of me to completely let go of what other people think and to learn to earn money and what that really means, what a rich life really means. And the book that will teach you that better than any other book is The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. It is a book that Bob Proctor has created an entire seminar around. And what is so interesting here is that Wallace Wattles does not talk about money one single time in the book. You see, money is one expression of a prosperous mindset. It is a physical expression of a prosperous mindset. What this book will teach you is a prosperous mindset. And there's 3 key chapters. There's many chapters in the book, but there's 3 key chapters that are recommended, and that's chapter 2, 7, and 14. And the best order to read them in is chapter 2 first. There's a science of getting rich. There's a science to it. Then chapter 14, the impression of increase, and chapter 7 afterwards on gratitude. The part I want to highlight today is the chapter on gratitude. Wallace D. Wattles goes on to say here that first, the whole process of mental adjustment and atonement can be summed up in one word: gratitude. The whole process of mental adjustment and atonement can be summed up in one word: gratitude. You can't be frustrated and angry and grateful at the same time. Gratitude always overrules all the other emotions. First, you believe that there's one intelligent substance from which all things proceed. There is an intelligent substance. We can call it God, Spirit, the universe. It's all around us. It's in us. It's above us, below us, behind us, in front of us. It's all over the place. It's in us too. There is an intelligent substance. It's called energy. Theologians will call it God. scientists would call it energy, but nonetheless, there is an intelligent substance from which all things proceed. Everything is energy before it becomes a thing. That is the perpetual transmutation of energy. Everything is energy, just changes its rate of vibration. So there is an intelligent substance from which everything is created. Secondly, you believe that this substance gives you everything you desire. Your source of supply is inside, it's not outside. People think their source of supply is in the next bank loan, is in the next stimulus check, is in the next. That's not your source of supply. Your source of supply is inside. Secondly, you believe that this substance gives you everything you desire. It's inside. It's the energy that you're surrounded by is also in you, and it gives you everything you desire. That's your source of supply. And thirdly, you relate yourself to it through a feeling of deep and profound gratitude. It literally hooks you up to your source of supply. People who are experiencing plenty on the physical plane, they're also grateful for what they have. Never satisfied, but very grateful for what they have. I'm never satisfied. I am not satisfied with the results we're getting, and that's good. I probably, hopefully, will never be satisfied. The moment we're satisfied, we start going backwards. He goes on to say here in the same chapter, the grateful mind is constantly fixed upon the best. Therefore, it tends to become the best. It takes the form or character of the best and will receive the best. That is so good. You're focused on the best by being grateful. You tend to become the best and takes the form or character of the best and will receive the best. That's what happens in your life. The more grateful you are for a future outcome, the more you're going to tune into it on an energetic level. And so that's really the key to it. The key in this book is that you're being taught how to live from the frequency that equals your outcome through, among other things, a feeling of deep and profound gratitude. So it's all energy. That's all there is to it. Go to the frequency that matches the outcome that you want, and it can't help but become that in your life. And as Einstein pointed out, I'm paraphrasing here, but he pointed out it's not philosophy, it's physics. And this book will teach you how to build a prosperous mindset and how to then get to experience it on a physical plane. Most people say, it's not here, you aren't rich yet. You can be homeless and sleeping on park benches and be rich mentally, and it's just a matter of time before that mentality will manifest itself on a physical plane. All right. I know a lot of people who have a lot in the account and they are spiritually poor. And vice versa also takes place. But I guarantee you the people that sustain this mindset, they will remain rich on the intellectual, on the spiritual, and yes, on the physical plane for the rest of their life. Money is a wonderful servant. It makes a terrible master. Most people get those in reverse. So those are the 3 books that I would recommend you pick up if you don't have them already. And if you do have them, now is a good time to study them again. There's a reason why my friend and mentor Bob Proctor has been studying the same book since 1962. He's studying it the same every single day. There's a reason why I study my materials, the books that I study, for a sustained period of time. I don't just read it once or twice. I keep coming back to it, and it keeps giving me new meaning in all areas of my life. So repetition is key. Overrule the old paradigm. Stay in the study. And now, with the way everything is in the world, is a good time to double up on your study and on your application. And we would be so grateful to help you study and get better at it and really apply all these principles so that you can get to where you want to go. One way you can do that is to apply for a complimentary coaching call with our team below. Just click the link, book a call, let us know what you're working on, what you would love to work on, what your challenges are. And if it's a match with anything that we provide, we will make that suggestion. If it's not a match, that's okay too. We'll make sure to tell you as well. So regardless, you will come away from that call as a winner with a feeling of increase. That is one of the success principles in this book. And that is what our team always tries to do, is leave you with a feeling of increase regardless of what decision you make. All right? Make sure you like the video, subscribe to my channel, and share it with friends and family so they can benefit from it as well. Remember, it's not who you are that holds you back from anything you want in life. There's perfection within you. What's holding most people back are all the illusions of who they think they are not. This is Anders Hansen. I'll see you in the next edition of Insights to Impossible. Thank you. I really hope that you took a lot of valuable insight away from this video today. And to make sure you stay updated in terms of everything Real Magic World, including programs and live events, make sure that you enable your notifications and most importantly, subscribe to this channel so that you will be the first to know.